Hi everyone. Okay, I'm Andrea Lancaster at Alchemy and also known as Andrea Lancaster Earth Alchemy on Facebook, on Instagram, but on, let me get this right, on YouTube, it's just basically Andrea Lancaster. Anyway, I just thought before I do some cards, I would quickly, and well, I want to tell you about the energy of what's going on right now in June. But I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. So, I've been doing this a long time. um, I've always seen spirit since I was tiny, being able to communicate, see them, talk to them, listen to them. From a very early age, I used to tell my family about what was going to happen because somebody had told me. So I once told my dad when we were sitting on a bus that this lady stood up to get off the bus, and I told him I was only 3, that when the bus stopped the lady was going to fall off, and he didn't know what to do, so he decided to do nothing, and when the bus stopped and the doors opened she fell off the bus. And many more stories like that I used to do, like telling my parents that my cousin had been born and she was a little girl, etc. We didn't have phones, we didn't have a telephone, so I told them that news before my granddad came round and knocked on the door and told them, and my mum said, we already know, Andrea's told us. So I've always had mediumship, so I'm a natural medium, and so I've always communicated with spirit. I did have to learn how to control it in my 20s, because it did come and go when it wanted to. I couldn't, close it down, etc. I didn't know what to do with it. um, so that had always been there. So once I'd learned to control it, I did work in the Spiritualist Church for a long time in the northeast and in Scotland for a short while. And then I started, well, before that I started on the path of witchcraft, and also discovered I am a bloodline witch through my mother's mother, etc., from Cornwall. So that was interesting. They had all been mediums, tea leaf readers, herbal healers, things like that. So that was interesting. But also, as you move forward, you grow, you learn, you go through other life events, and you start to realise that, you're going to develop. So I'd started with Reiki. I am a Reiki master now, and that really opened me up as well. So since I've done an awful lot. So I'm a sound healer so I do sound baths with gongs and crystal singing bowls and Tibetan bowls. I do quantum touch. I do beyond quantum healing, Sekim, as I said, Reiki master. I'm also a spiritual life coach. I have my counselling and NLP certificates, everything like that. The list goes on. I've spent thousands and thousands on certification, because even if you know what you're doing, these days you still have to have it, and you have to have business insurance as well. So yeah, so I've I've been doing this for a long time, and then I decided to be brave and dipped in and out having my own business. Didn't like working for other people. So in the end I stuck with having my own business and decided that actually this, what I was born with, I was always meant to do and use and help people. So that's what I do. I do channel as well now. So it's not that I don't get people's loved ones, but it's mainly, I have to say, do you want, I don't want to say aliens, definitely not, because they're not. So we'll say ETs or star beings, or I do have higher dimensional beings as well. So, but interdimensions, because there's lots of different dimensions. So there's those angelic beings, the Elohim, etc. There's quite a few come through. So yeah, so that's what I do. So I do lots of different types of readings. Um, I do Akashic Records. I teach Akashic Records. You know, I teach people how to develop their mediumship and their channeling. So I do a lot. I speak. So you could say I'm a public speaker. I do talk about things as well within the spiritual world that I obviously know about. I'm not going to talk about something that I'm not affair with. So yeah, I do a lot of that. I run workshops, and I've got clients all over the world, luckily, online. I have managed to meet a few of them, which is great, in person, which has been fabulous. So I really do love my job, and I've been doing this, if you said from the start, I've been doing it 54 years, because that's how old I am. If you look at professionally, then I've been doing it 34 years. So yes, I've been doing this a very long time. So I just thought I'd let you know that's that's me, and that's what I do, and that's how long I've been doing it. So I'm not new to this. I'd probably say I'm long in the tooth, maybe. Who knows? So anyway, we're going to talk about June. The energies are permanently high volume, high vibrational, constant solar flares. You know, there's so much high volume energy at the moment. It is affecting a lot of people, especially those who are empaths, who are very sensitive or are spiritually inclined. So you can take a battering. So it is important to ground and protect your energy, so that when you're in tune with Mother Nature, so if you ground yourself into Mother Earth, it means you're stabilising your energy. When you put a protective bubble up, I'm not saying you're stopping all of that energy, because you shouldn't, because it's actually helping you with DNA downloads, information downloads. It's changing you so you move forward ascension wise, but sometimes it can become a lot. So it's good to put protection up around yourself. And June is going to be no exception at all. In fact, for those who steadfastly refuse to move forward in their lives or face their shadow self, if they've done no work, anything that they're holding on to that they know is they really need to let go of, it's going to be really tough going. For those who buy into the complete media narrative and everything, they're going to find this really difficult, because there's going to be lots of people they look up to, and government people who are found out to be liars and not to be true and not to be telling the truth, and the truth is starting to come out now. So it's going to be really, really difficult. And it's far better if we go with the flow. If you resist, then that's when the problems happen. So if you are in the flow and you are open to receiving, and you are genuinely coming from your heart center, your spiritual heart center, then things will be, I won't say perfect, but much easier, because you'll understand what's going on and what's happening. You will perceive things. You will understand energetically what's going on around you. So watch out for those who are not awake. And I'm not saying you can awake them, you can't. But those who are tipping on the balance, they can sometimes start to wake up. So we are seeing more and more awakening. And that is good. It is good. But you need to know where you're at. And you need to be letting go of everything that is 3D. As in, the need for the things that we thought made our lives good and happy. You know what I mean. I've said it before. The handbags, the shoes, the fast cars, the, you know, latest curtains, because next door got new curtains and blinds, so we need new curtains and blinds. It's all of that kind of thing, you know. That is very 3D. It's material objects. And essentially, we need to be working on ourselves and our spiritual awareness by going within. So when we go within and work on ourselves, because everything is within, the divine being, God, the omnipotent being, whatever you want to call it, is within, then everything changes without, because we are creating and we are co-creators. As I say, we are multi-dimensional beings. So when we do that, we have a much easier time of it. I'm not saying perfectly great, but easier to those who you will watch, who won't understand why things are getting worse and shittier. And when they ask and you try and explain, if they won't change, again, that's their journey. But because some won't, and they still don't understand, even when you've explained what's happening, they refuse to make the changes that would make their life much better, much happier, much freer. So yes, there's a lot going on right now. And June is one of those months where you really are going to feel that. So, look after yourself. Hydrate. Nourish yourself. Cleanse your energy. Ground yourself. Protect your energy from any negativity. Make sure you are at your highest vibration possible and working from the heart. And that's the way forward. There's lots of other things, but basically those are the caveats. Right, I'm going to pull some cards and I'm going to see what Spirit's got to say. So this is for this week, okay? Right. So we have the Prince of Cups, the Death card, which is a Major Arcana card, and the Four of Wands. So the Prince of Cups can represent a younger person who is creative, who is very emotional, who could be empathic, who's very sensitive. Sometimes you might think painfully sensitive, but it's just because they pick up on the energies around, so that's what makes them seem oversensitive. They're not, they're empathic. They sense all the different types of energy, good, bad, indifferent, happy, sad, etc. And they sometimes think it's themselves, and it's not. So this week you may see a lot of younger people picking up on a lot of different things and a lot of changes. So you might see mood swings and different things. But also this card represents creativity. So if you felt your creativity has been blocked, or even that you're not sensing what you should, or you know there's been a change in the way you work across the board, the Death card is coming in, which is going to end that. So you're going to start to understand what your new gifts are, or how things have altered and changed how you work. And if there's been a kind of inability to feel creative because you feel like there's been fog, or your brain's been stuffed with cotton wool and you just can't think, you can't engage with your creative side, then this card is saying now you can move forward. So this is good. This is really positive. This means that's ending that phase of feeling stuck with your creativity, etc. It's changing. That stops and then you move forward. And that actually helps in your home. so that you feel more settled. But also, it may make you realize you need to move on. It may make you realize that your creativity is stifled, or your work is stifled because of where you are. So maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's time to move on in a relationship. Maybe it's time to sell up and move, or go and rent somewhere else. And I know it's not as easy said as done because of the way things are at the moment. But if that's what you've been thinking about and you've been holding on, you need to find a way to enable yourself to do that, because that's what these cards are saying, definitely. Now I'm just going to pick another one. So you're going to have to really go inward. As I talk about, this is the Hermit card, it's a major arcana card, and you're really going to have to think about what you want, what you don't want. And we all become hermits. Certainly the more you move on spiritually, the less friendships you have, because you know not all of them are real, and you start to not want to be around people all the time, because sometimes peopling, as I put it, and lots of others do, can become too much because there's too much energy around, so you withdraw. So maybe this week the creative energy flows, but you have to withdraw and enable yourself to continue to do that. So, oh, I need to withdraw so that I can get on with this and I can do this. And so that's what these cards are really talking about this week. And also about whether you give. So again, this can even be a divorce card. So whether, if your relationship's on that point where you don't know whether to continue or not, do you continue if it's not working for you, or do you actually give it another chance? With work, if you're fed up with work and you're about to leave, but somebody offers you something better within that work, do you take that, or do you make a clean break and move forward? So this is a card of, do you carry on, or do you go back? Do you give second chances? It can also be a card of financial difficulties, so it is important to sort out financial things. Oops, I've just knocked the camera, sorry. It's also important to sort out any finances this month. This month's a biggie for financial sorting, so making sure your finances are fine and they're okay. And last card, I don't normally pull this many, but I've just felt like I need to. Choices. You're going to have choices to make. Make sure you weigh up your options, whichever way you're going, because these will set you forward in the way your path is going to go for the next half of this year. So it's important you set your finances, you get yourself sorted, or you know how you're going to create abundance and prosperity in your life, how you're going to move forward with your work, your career, etc., your gifts and your relationships. There's decisions to be made that will affect the rest of this year and onwards, really. So it's a very important start to the week. So there you go, that's your cards for this week. They're not bad, they're just saying be decisive, make your mind up. Your creativity is coming back. So if the flow's been stymied or stifled or blocked, or you felt stuck, it's being lifted again, but you will have to go within yourself and kind of withdraw a bit to get on with that. But you also are being asked to sort your finances and relationships and work out, so that you are happy as you move forward rather than holding on to things. So that I'll just rewind there. So that is the forecast for this week. So I hope that's helped. and resonated, or given you a few kind of, oh yeah, I can see that, a few thoughts there. I will be on next Monday. Sorry I haven't been on. I wasn't very well last week, so that's why you didn't see me. Anyway, have a good week. Get yourself sorted. Otherwise, you'll feel frazzled in June if you don't. Namaste, blessed be. Bye for now.